Hello, good evening. Good evening, Chuempala, and good afternoon here in Calgary, Alberta, where I am coming to you live. My name is Elias Munsha, and I'm coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube from Calgary, Alberta, where I work. In Chuempala, I know that it's about 21:30, and so welcome to my live broadcast today. Please share as much as you can. We have a few things to get to, and I'm going to explain a little bit about the American electoral system because there's a lot of misinformation and confusion, okay? I'm going to help explain a little bit of that for you there in Zambia so that you can be better informed. Now, what I say today, you can compare it with some of the research that you can make very easily on Google, and then you can make up your mind as to what is really going on, okay? And then I'm going to talk about the COVID-19 scandal. Donations have been stolen by people in the Ministry of Health, by the people in the Ministry of Health in Zambia. They've stolen the COVID money, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'll also be talking about Honeybee Company, Honeybee Pharmacies. That won a tender to supply $17 million worth of health supplies, and much of it has been stolen, okay? And then I'll also talk about the University of Cavendish University awarding a bachelor's degree in project management to Mr. Davis Mwila, who is Patriotic Front Secretary General. And so those are the topics that we are going to talk about today. Now, some of the opinions that I have may be different from what you believe about these things, but it's okay, okay? Because we don't have to agree on these things. All we have to do is just to have a discussion. It's going to be a long one, I hope. So among those 4 discussions, the first thing that I need to start with is Davis Mwila's bachelor's degree in project management. A question is asked to say he only completed his grade 12 or GCE last year or in 2018. How come he has a degree now? And my answer is very simple, and I hope that you're going to agree with me. What we have done in Zambia of emphasizing that old people still must do the GCE is a waste of time, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of common sense. It's completely unnecessary. Okay, this idea that every person in Zambia must do GCE is a waste of money and waste of resources. There is no developed country that emphasizes these standards that we have in Zambia. Okay, they're a waste of time. And so forcing a person with tremendous experience as Davis Mwila to sit for GCE and use that GCE as one of the qualifications for employment, or one of the qualifications for being a member of parliament, or one of the qualifications for so many other things, it's a waste of time. So they took money from him, and he sat and he had 6 points or something like that. Okay, so that is one thing. The other thing is, can a person be admitted to university when he has no grade 12 certificate? Yes, old people with experience like Mr. Davis Mwila can be admitted to university even if they don't have a grade 12 certificate. That is just common sense. Universities around the world, including in England, developed countries like England, or even here in Canada, mature students can be admitted into university without a grade 12 secondary education, as long as they demonstrate competence in some other ways. Sometimes that competence can be gleaned from their past experience. Sometimes that experience is that competence is demonstrated through an exam, and so universities must have a little bit of discretion into the admission standards and who they want to admit. And not every person who is admitted to university, particularly old people, mature old people, they may not have the grade 12, the required grade 12 certificate, but nevertheless, it would be unfair for you to demand, first of all, that they go and do GCE, and then after they do GCE, that's when they can come to university. That is completely unnecessary. So if this gentleman finished grade 12 in 2017 or 2018 or 2019, maybe he was a student at Cavendish before that, which is just okay. So we should not be piling on this gentleman simply because his party, the Patriotic Front, is a party of thieves, okay? Or is a party of kelenkas. That should not be the reason why we should be undermining qualifications that our people obtain from private universities such as Cavendish. I believe in Cavendish University, and I believe that they did the due diligence when they admitted the Patriotic Front Secretary General to be one of its students. Okay? Did we need or require that this particular gentleman show up at Cavendish University? No, there are some distance education programs. There are several other things. So there's got to be some flexibility, and we've got to recognize that. So I see nothing unusual about the Secretary General's bachelor's degree. The only thing that I find unusual is the name of the bachelor's degree. It's known as the Bachelor's Degree in Project Management. Quite interesting. Imagine. It's a degree in project management. So that's the only issue that I have. I'm like, Cavendish, why would you be offering a bachelor's degree in project management? That is shocking. I'm quite surprised. But I'm not surprised at the fact that a person of Mr. Mwila's experience and caliber would meet the qualifications necessary to be admitted into university. And if he passes those classes, that he can actually be given a degree. That is what we need. Okay, that is what we want to see in our country: an educated people that have been to school and that are working hard. If anyone has evidence that Mr. Davis Mwila does not meet the qualifications from Cavendish, you can provide it. But if you go to Mulomo simply because Davis Mwila saves a corrupt party is not fair. And he went to a private university. It was not a government university. And yeah, I find his degree unusual, though. I find it quite unusual, but it's part and parcel of life. Some people are going to have a degree in project management, others in things that are different, in plants, in space science, in rocket science, and things like that. Well, good luck to him. Okay, but that's all I have to say about Davis Mwila. What do you say? What are you saying? Okay, so we are going to move on from Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis Mwila. We congratulate him, and that's exactly what we want. As far as stealing is concerned, even educated ministers in PF, they are stealing. So there is no difference. The people who steal, it's not an education that steals in Zambia. We don't have a problem with education in Zambia. The biggest problem we have is that uneducated ministers are as thieving as the educated ministers. That is just the truth. And so instead of just emphasizing academics, we need to begin asking ourselves the question, how are we doing in terms of theft and mismanagement of our national resources? That is a very critical question that must be answered. How are we dealing with the management of our national resources? Because look at the Ministry of Health. The person responsible for the Ministry of Health is extremely educated. He's a medical doctor with several, how many degrees does Dr. Chitalo Chirufya have? But look at the theft that has taken place under Ministry of Health. Look at the mismanagement. COVID money comes. COVID donations come. Instead of all these things being directed to the people that really need them and paying health workers, what does Dr. Chirufya do? He steals the money. He mismanages it. He's a thief. Okay? So now the president cannot act against him because I always say it. That is what is the issue there. So now we understand that Honeybee is under investigations. What is this Honeybee company? It's a mysterious company. I've just seen some postings today that suggest that it is partially owned or directed by somebody who is extremely close to the president, and his name is Chomba Kaoma. Now, I have no evidence to prove that he's actually connected to Honeybee. I've seen a video where he seems to be saying that he runs Honeybee. But other than that, I don't have any other evidence. But from all these allegations we have heard, I am not surprised that Honeybee was given that contract by the Ministry of Health. It's because it's a cartel of thieves. That is what it is. They are giving each other contracts and stealing from the poor people of Zambia. That's why I say it. These people are not humble. These people are not Christian. These people are thieves. That is what they are. They give each other contracts and they steal from the people of Zambia. They do substandard works and they steal from the people of Zambia. They do poor engineering workmanship and then they go blaming engineers instead of blaming their own theft. It's extremely terrible. So all these kind of development that President Lungu is talking about and buildings that President Lungu keeps talking about in Lusaka, they are first of all substandard. Secondly, they were all built on Kaloba. Thirdly, what is responsible for the substandard work is that they have stolen almost half of the money that they were supposed to spend. And so we have all these substandard buildings, engineering works that do not make sense. That is the kind of situation we are in. And as a result of this theft, the kwacha is going down. It's now 20 kwacha. We understand that it will be 21 kwacha to $1 very soon. Why is all this happening? It is happening because of theft. Theft at Ministry of Health, theft in terms of contracts, theft in terms of infrastructure development, theft in terms of Kaloba. It is theft everywhere. That is what the Patriotic Front government is all about. It is a government of thieves. And so instead of me wasting time trying to discredit a degree that Honorable Davis Mwela has had, I think we need to keep our mind focused on things, on important matters, such as the theft that is taking place in Honeybee and COVID-19 things, instead of concentrating on trying to discredit somebody's degree or somebody's academic credentials. Because there are so many people in our country that do not have a grade 12 certificate, or they failed a grade 12 certificate. They are now old, they have become ministers, they've become politicians, they have tremendous experience, and they want to have a degree. Why should they have to go and do GCE before they enroll in a degree? No, you give them an entrance. They enter into a degree program, they prove themselves there, they obtain a degree. What we don't want is theft. That's it, okay? If they do something illegal, of course, call them out on that and bring evidence. Not you, Mulomo. That you're Davis Mwela, obviously you did not meet the qualifications. No, that university judged him to have met the qualifications. So that should not be an issue. Okay? Yeah. All right. Now, that is the thing about Honeybee and COVID-19 theft. They have stolen. And I would like to appeal to the people of Zambia, be sober about this. Look at this very critically in the elections that are going to be coming up, in the elections next year, okay? Do not give these people another mandate. Do not. Now, I do not know the alternative to them. I can't tell you the alternative, which political parties. Of course, there is UPND, there is NDC, there is MMD, Dr. Nevas Mumba. There will be several other political parties. If and when I come up with that decision, I am going to let you know so that I can endorse a candidate or whatever it is, okay? If and when that opportunity comes, I'm going to let you know. Otherwise, for now, the only thing I know is that there is irrefutable evidence and proof that the Patriotic Front government is a government of thieves. That is what it is. Nothing else. Okay. Now, I'd like to move on to the US. The US election. I have before me a map here. I don't know how visible it is for you, because I want to explain a few things about the US. And the reason why we must do this is to clarify so many misunderstandings about what is happening in the US. So this is the map. I have it from politico.com. So I'm using my work computer here. So this is the map of the United States. So let me just deal with this question. Some people are saying that this election is rigged. Now, with due respect, it's very difficult to rig an American election. Okay? Not only is it difficult, but it is actually almost impossible. At least not to the scale that President Trump is saying. It's not possible to rig in the manner President Trump is saying that they've been rigged. And so I don't think these elections are rigged, and I don't foresee President Trump winning if he took these matters to court. The problem is he's fighting too many battles, you see? So in order for him to be successful in court, he has to overturn Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and to some extent Minnesota. So he has to convince judges that all these elections that took place in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in Arizona, in Nevada, they are all wrong. That is where the problem is. So there is no judge who can give him all these states back. Okay, just common sense. There is no judge who is going to reverse all these states and say that no, the person who won in these states or the person who was leading in these states, it was illegitimate, and so we are going to give Trump the presidency. No. The reason why, in fact, this is different from what happened in 2000 between Gore and Bush. The Gore and Bush issue was specific to one state, which is Florida. And the issue was very specific to one state of Florida, and the disagreements were very specific in Florida, until the Supreme Court said, no, time has already passed. We are going to maintain whoever is leading right now in Florida. The Electoral College is supposed to be sitting, and so Florida must conclude its numbers. And as a result of that, Bush won by about 500 votes. And when he won Florida, he had enough votes. He had 270 Electoral College votes to become president. The challenge this time around is that Mr. Trump is not just alleging that one state has disadvantaged him. What he's saying is that all these states, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these 6 states have disadvantaged him. Yeah, which is pretty impossible to overcome. So there is no judge that is going to agree with the kind of things that Mr. Trump is saying. So that's a little bit about the American system. Okay, so is this system the same as what happens, the rigging that takes place in Africa? Of course, Africans are so happy, particularly African supporters of ruling parties. Like in Zambia, they are so happy saying, no, even Americans have the same challenges. No, Americans do not have the same challenges as the challenges we have in Zambia, for example, with rigging and confusion and political confusion. Don't even equate it. Don't even say it's the same thing. It's not. Okay? The only difference is that in America right now, there is a president who is refusing to concede defeat. That is what is happening. So he's behind in all these states, but instead of just agreeing with Mwansepa, I've lost. He's not. He wants to fight on and on. Okay, that is what is happening. Does anyone have a question about the states? What is happening in the states? All right. Anyone with a question about what is happening in the states? Because there is a lot of misinformation. Okay. Somebody was commenting about my position. He says, obviously, in this US election, I've taken a side, and I would much rather Biden wins than Trump. So somebody was telling me to say, why would you as a pastor be supporting Biden over Trump, over the Republicans, the Democrats over the Republicans? And I think that is the problem that we have, particularly we Africans and evangelical Africans, like Pentecostal evangelicals like me, because what we've been told, all right, the theology we have grown up in as Pentecostals or as evangelicals is pretty problematic. It's actually American white evangelical theology. It's not biblical theology, so to speak. And so what we think is the Bible is actually not. Okay? It is inspired by a certain American ideology, such that our theology is very heavily Republican American ideology. And so we fail to distinguish between these two. For example, when we were just getting born again, all right, when we were just getting born again in the 90s and in the 80s, we were told, for example, that Bill Clinton was the Antichrist. Our eschatology was that the American president, particularly if they're Democrat, they're Antichrist. And so that is the kind of ideology we have grown up on. And it's been reinforced by several white preachers, right? White American preachers. They wrote the books that we were consuming a lot. And so we created that to be the standard, the biblical standard, when it is not. Okay? So Bill Clinton left. George W. Bush came into power. After George W. Bush, there was Barack Obama. After Barack Obama, there is this person. And so this idea of tying American presidents to evangelical eschatology is wrong. Okay? We need to stop it as Africans. We need to stop it. Okay? It's not biblical. It's American. America is just one of the countries that God has created. America is not a determinant of the end times. Okay? American politics is not what will determine the end times. America is not one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? It is a very powerful nation. That is what it is. But this eschatology from evangelicals, particularly in Africa, that think that the coming of Jesus is tied to the politics in America is American. It is not biblical, and Black African evangelicals should stop this nonsense. Okay? You should stop it. Because God is not Republican or Democrat. God is God of all the earth. So we have Christians in the Democrats, and then we have Christians in the Republicans. We have non-Christians in the Republicans, and we have non-Christians among the Democrats. Okay? The Republican is not a church. It is not God. It is not theology. It is a political party. All right? Okay. What about this idea that we shouldn't support the Democrats simply because the Democrats support gay marriage. As a matter of fact, this is the thing. You need to be very clear about this. Both the Republicans and the Democrats, officially, they both recognize gay marriages. The reason is, in America, gay marriages are actually part of civil law. All right? Okay. What about abortion? Of course, abortion is a hot issue. All right? But this is where some Republicans appear to be quite hypocritical. The reason is this. So they say that they are pro-life as long as a baby is in the womb. But as soon as a baby is born, they are not. Okay? For example, when you are trying to pass a budget in America, typically, when you're trying to pass a budget in America, some Republicans would resist ways of trying to help the poor babies, poor people. Okay? They'll resist that. So the same party that says it's pro-life, it's only pro-life in the womb. It's not pro-life when a baby is born. That's a major concern. Okay? Now, of course, I am leaning conservative. I am conservative leaning, meaning I would support naturally candidates that are Republican. I would support George H.W. Bush. I would lean towards Republicans. Okay? That would be my politics. Say in Canada, I would be leaning towards the conservatives. But that's not all, right? If, for example, there is a choice between a Mr. Trump and a Mr. Biden, of course I'm going to support a Mr. Biden. Why not? But this idea of saying that you're going to be supporting a particular political party because that is the political party where God is, no, that's nonsense. It's not part of the word of God. And for those evangelicals in America that are thinking or behaving as if Trump is Christ, stop it. Stop it already, please. He's not. Okay. What about all the prophecies and everything? I cannot speak about prophecies and who prophesied that Trump was going to win, because prophecies are not elections. In America, Americans vote through elections for their president. They don't vote through prophecies. So whoever prophesies, they are exercising their freedom of religion, and I have no problems against it. Okay? So if somebody prophesied that Trump was going to rule another second term, good luck with that. You have freedom to do that. But you cannot say that that prophecy becomes the basis upon which Trump should then rule a second term. No, because in America, it's the people that choose a president. Even in Zambia, it's the people that elect a president. Therefore, the choice of the people becomes the choice of God. That is what it means. So all this nonsense of saying that you're going to be prophesying, no, please, stop it. Or if you are going to exercise the freedom of prophesying, please exercise that as part of your religious exercise. But do not say that your prophecy is the basis upon which a particular person must be elected as president. Okay? Because prophecy is not the determinant of the Constitution. A person who is prophesying has the constitutional right to prophesy. But exercising the constitutional right to prophesy is not one of the ways by which the Constitution recognizes as a legitimate way to elect a president. Okay, so let me go back to this map. Let me go back to this map and say something. Trump won in 2016 by about 77,000 votes. Now, this is perhaps one of the things that people are missing. Trump's win in 2016 was pretty much a miracle. Okay? And as a Christian, I think it was pretty much a miracle. And I do think that that miracle was created by God, honestly. I honestly think that it's God who put him in 2016. And the reason why he put him in 2016, look, he won Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin by about 70,000 votes. He won by 20,000 votes in Wisconsin, won about 10,000 votes in Michigan, and won even less in Pennsylvania. In these three states, these are the three states that it's refreshing. These are the three states that put Mr. Trump in the White House. And in addition to that, he lost the popular vote, what is known as the popular vote, meaning adding all the votes from every citizen who participated in the elections. Trump lost. But because he won Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, he became president. But he did not govern like a person who had won a miraculous election. He did not govern like that. He started governing in a very divisive manner, insulting people, calling you Africans as people coming from shithole countries. A lot of confusion. And every day, you cannot sustain a country like that where a leader chirabushiku kula tukana patwita. Wekateka. Bantu nangu niresa kubika po. Kuti achinja mano lesa tukwena na ali kubika po nomba taukwita mano. Tauleteka. It was very easy for him to have a second term. Extremely easy, but no. That was the problem that we see there. Okay. The other thing that I need to address about the thing. So I'm a lawyer, I'm a preacher, but I'm also a political theologian. So political theology is a branch of practical theology that deals with the relationship of theology and politics and governance. Okay. And so I am writing a dissertation in political theology, Zambian church-state relations. So there is this idea that many people have of thinking, even in Zambia, that the Bible is the source of our law in Zambia. No, okay, it's not. Or the idea that the Bible is the source of our criminal law, that we punish we punish people according to what the Bible says. Even if Zambia is a Christian nation, the Bible is not the source of our criminal law. So you cannot use the Bible as the basis to argue penal sanctions. All right? Who determines our criminal laws in Zambia? It is Parliament. So Parliament is the one that creates crimes. When you say that a person has been convicted of a crime, when you say a crime, what you are actually saying is that Parliament passed a law that made a particular action a crime. That is what happens. So you particularly, the biggest problem that I've noticed, I've not seen it in other faiths. The problem that I notice in my own tradition, faith, okay, in my faith tradition, Pentecostal evangelicals, is this conflating the Bible with criminal law. They're not the same. Okay? Unless the Zambian parliament passes a particular law that criminalizes something, it cannot be a criminal act just because it is forbidden in the Bible. In fact, not everything that is forbidden in the Bible is a crime in Zambia. Right? So when you say that you want to have biblical criminal laws, what does that actually mean? What does that actually translate to? Those are very important things that you need to pay attention to. Okay? All right. So what do you think about Linda Nkonde? Project management is about governance. All right. Okay. That's understood. Amalirisho wa Trump. Yes, I think so. I think wa Trump na bakwacha sana amalirisho. That's what it is. Because in the past, the strength of the American system is it's not that past presidents have not lost, past candidates. In the past, candidates have lost, but they have done what is known as conceding. So to concede means you look at the map, you see really that there is no way you can overcome it. You know that there could be some irregularities here and there, but you concede because there is no way you can make the 270 electoral college votes. Mr. Trump is not doing that. Mr. Trump is down in Georgia. Mr. Trump is down in Pennsylvania. Mr. Trump is down in Michigan and Wisconsin. Mr. Trump is down in Arizona and in Nevada. But he still somehow believes that all these states, they are wrong. He is right. Some of these states are run by Republicans. He says they're all wrong. He is right. When Hillary Clinton lost, a very controversial loss, the election that elected Trump, Hillary lost by 77,000 votes from 3 states. Hillary conceded and said, well, it's good, it has happened, I congratulate the new person. And when you concede, what happens is when you concede, there is peace, because then all the threats of recounts or the threats of whatever, it's now over because you've conceded. They stop counting, they stop making any recounts, and then they take the results as they are, and then they send delegates to the Electoral College, and it's over. But Mr. Trump is having none of that. If it was just one state, I would give Mr. Trump a benefit of doubt. I would say, fight on. It's just one state. It's one state that is making you not to have the 270 votes, Electoral College votes. It's not one state. It's 5. Is it 6 states? Kindly explain the difference between an electoral vote and a popular vote. Electoral College. So, let me bring back this map. So what it means by Electoral College is the way Americans elect their president is that each of these states has particular votes. And so a person who wins a particular state is assigned the Electoral College votes of that state. Okay? That's what happens. So California has 55 Electoral College votes. So whoever wins California wins 55 votes. So when you win, for you to win the presidency, you must have at least half of the Electoral College votes, which is about 270. So let me just do 270 times 2 equals, it's about 542. Is it 542 or 538? 538, sorry. The Electoral College votes are 532, 38. Yeah, so it's 538 Electoral College votes, and every state has its own numbers, right? So Texas has 38, California has 55, the smaller states, South Dakota 3, Northern Dakota 3, Wyoming 3, So in order for one to be elected president, they must, when you add all these Electoral College votes in the state that they have won, if somebody has reached 270, then they've been elected as president. On the other hand, popular vote means you now add all the votes that were taken in the entire America. Then you can have the popular vote. So a person can win the popular vote, but yet lose the Electoral College because they have lost states which have either big or smaller Electoral College votes. Okay, I hope that is helpful. All right. So that is what it means. What if he refuses? What's next? What's next is that the Electoral College is going to meet in December. I think they meet about December 15, and then they're going to elect Joe Biden as president, and then Mr. Trump will continue fighting a battle that he can't win. Yeah. Why is it that 253 votes doesn't equal to a win? Because you have to have 270, because you must have half of the Electoral College in order for you to win. Who has won in the USA? It appears to be Biden. When are they announcing the winner? It's likely this afternoon, this evening, because Pennsylvania now, the way they are looking at the numbers, they think that in Pennsylvania, you can make some projections that Donald Trump cannot catch up. Yeah. I don't see what religion has to do with it. Regardless, the president have equal rights. Yes, I agree with you. Wiseman, is it possible for the Biden to appoint Obama as vice president since he was the vice to Obama? No, because Biden already has a vice president who's been elected, and her name is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. And she visited Zambia at one point in her childhood. So we have a Zambian for vice president. So Wiseman don't know. America already has a vice president. Mwansa, yes, Kamala Harris is the vice president. Democrats are a batch of gay tomfooleries. That says Ernst Perry. Yeah, I love Wafia. You don't like gays, eh? Noreen Hart, they are truly hypocrites. The issue of abortion should not be confused with politics. Yeah, because it's one issue. They just say that it's because they are trying to prevent abortion. And yet, life is more than just about the unborn. Life is life, right? If you're pro-life, then you're pro-life across all the entire spectrum of life. Yeah. Yeah. Biden is a right-leaning centrist, Mahom Jala. Yes. So yeah, he's not on the extreme left, and I think that is what made him successful. But there are also arguments that Bernie Sanders, for example, can actually pull off a win. This therefore brings the question, what do we really refer to when we say elections? Because depending on who you actually motivate, one person can become president. So if Bernie Sanders, for example, motivates a coalition of young people who agree with his extreme centrist, extreme left ideologies, he could actually be a president. So has Biden won because he's much more centrist? I really have no idea. Yeah. The Trump evangelical problem is the same problem in Zambia. But yeah, maybe it could be the same in Zambia. Yeah. Some states have won. We in California have the highest, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in terms of the Electoral College votes, yeah, California has 55. But the smaller states, I think there is a minimum votes that every state must have. So smaller states have at least 3 Electoral College votes. And the District of Columbia, I think, has 1. Does the District of Columbia have an electoral vote? I don't think so. Anyway, we can look on that. Yeah. The world power USA makes itself so laughable. US election dominates media more than COVID-19. Yeah, but I don't think it's really the US elections. What is happening today in the US elections is exactly what happens in the past US elections. The only difference is that this time it's Trump. Otherwise, this pattern of elections, it's very similar to what happens every year. Okay, the only difference here is that there is a Trump. That's it. There is a Trump who does not follow common sense. And I know there are several of my friends who like Trump, and I wonder, why would you like Trump? But anyway, they are my friends nevertheless. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for following me today. God bless you and God bless our country. Please share my this with others. Invite others to like our page and to follow us on YouTube as well. Michelo, I can see that your device is not connected, so I can't connect to you. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend and see you another time. Bye.